Gentlemen, the clearest poll reported on today by WMU 88.5's Patrick Madden indicates that Mayor Fenty has a big lead among white voters and Chairman Gray has a big lead among black voters. And there is a racial subtext to some of the issues in this race. You don't hear much about the plan anymore, that alleged conspiracy by whites to wrest control of the city and run blacks out. What you do hear is that some developments, dog parks, bike lanes, streetcars, are intended to benefit only one group, new residents, meaning affluent whites, and not the other group, meaning poor blacks. What is your response to that observation, Chairman Gray?
Well, I think it's regrettable that we have this kind of apparent racial divide in the District of Columbia, and there clearly is a perception that there are some people in the city who are getting more than others. One of the themes that I run on, and it's not just during this campaign, is one city. And I believe that I'm the person who can bring this city together. I've worked all across the city my entire life. I'm a product of the public schools of the District of Columbia. And I believe we need to bring all 600,000 residents in the District of Columbia together. We will never be what we can be as long as we have, part of the city feeling that it's left out, and another part, and perceiving the other part of the city as getting more. So this is something that I feel as I go across the city, and I think polls have corroborated that.
Do you feel there's any validity to the notion that dog parks and bike lanes and streetcars only benefit one part of the population, affluent whites?
Well, let's take streetcars for an example. Streetcars are intended to begin on 8th Street Northeast, where we have a very substantial African American population. I've been a supporter of streetcars. So where they will be starting will be in an area where there are lots of African Americans who are living and do business. As a matter of fact, the first place that they were going to be put in, or at least the last place, there have been several places, would have been on Martin Luther King Avenue, which would have been in Ward 8. And there are many citizens over there who really weren't that enamored of streetcars, and they would move to another place after that. So when you look at the streetcar issue as illustrative of this, it's clear that that isn't necessarily well-founded.
Mayor Fenty, your response to the same observation that bike parks, streetcars, dog parks are essentially for affluent whites, not for poor blacks?
And I want to start out addressing the more general question of the disparity that you mentioned in the poll. We know we've got a lot of work to do over the next 27 days, making sure that people know my record and feel comfortable and are excited about it. The record tells a story of an administration that has done a tremendous amount on the east side of the city. It'll tell its story about 4 new recreation centers proposed or being built in Ward 8 alone, 2 others in Ward 7. It'll tell a story about an administration that saw no grocery stores at all in Ward 8 for the past 20 years, and we've already opened one in Camp Sims in Ward 8 and have another one scheduled to open this summer along Pennsylvania Avenue in Minnesota. It'll tell a story about an administration that has already opened libraries on Benning Road, on Good Hope Road. It'll tell a story about administration that's helped to open new steakhouses on Minnesota and Dix. It's going to open up new housing, affordable housing right on Minnesota and Benning with new retail on the bottom. And so to get to your point, because you were about to cut me off while I'm going through this long list of stuff that we've done,
right, yeah.
We have to be able to convince people and show people that these things both started and ended on my administration and would not have happened were we not in office. We know we've got a challenge to do so.
But do you think they benefit poor blacks as much as they benefit affluent whites, specifically dog parks, streetcars, and bike lanes?
Well, all of those recreation centers, libraries, and the schools I was going to talk about, the shoring up United Medical Center over on Southern Avenue, all of those things not only benefit African Americans, but are literally in African American wards in the city on the eastern side. Why do people still have some qualms with my campaign? I think it's my fault. I think I got to do a better job educating people about what we've done.